Welcome to Chalkboard Chat. I am Dr. Tara Y. Wren. Today, I have with me Kaylyn Johnson, a student who is a member on the MPB Student Council. Today, Kaylyn and I will chat about a topic that she has selected that is near and dear to her heart, being a part of the band. How are you today, Kaylyn?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having this conversation with me today. And before we get started, I'm just going to ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Kaylyn Johnson. I am from Mendenhall, Mississippi, and I am a freshman at Mendenhall High School.
Great. All right. Starting into the high school years. Are you excited about that?
Yes, ma'am. It's been nerve-wracking.
So far, huh?
Yes, ma'am. We just finished our first semester today.
All right. You'll get a little bit more comfortable as the semesters and the years go by. It'll go by so fast, so enjoy them. You have chosen to have a conversation with me about something that you really enjoy doing, and that is playing in the band. Tell me why you chose to have this as a conversation piece.
I chose to have this conversation because this is something I really enjoy and I feel like more people should know about, to think about joining themselves and see if they would enjoy it.
Okay. So, Kaylyn, tell me about your uniform.
The band member's uniform is mostly black. It has gold accents on it. It has a boxed shoulder, and it's really easy to work with, so you could do lunges, squats, and all that stuff. And the color guard's uniform was purple and had 80 swirls on it, and you had your hair back in a ponytail. So when you did routine and stuff, it would look like you're popping in the show and stuff, so they could see you, but they could also see the rest of the band.
Wow. Did you say lunges?
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds a lot like exercising to me. But, okay. So when you put that uniform on, did it make you feel some kind of way? Excitement for the game?
Yes, ma'am. It made me feel really good about being in band and how far I've made it.
Congratulations. Tell me, which band or bands have you performed in so far?
I have performed in the Mendenhall Junior High Band, and I also have performed in the Mendenhall High School Tiger Pride Band.
Okay, middle school and high school. And I heard you mention to me earlier, there's two different kinds of bands.
There's marching band and concert band.
Okay, talk a little bit about both of those.
Marching band is usually where bands march on the field, typically at parades or sports events or competition if you make it that far. Concert band is when you have a large group of students who play instruments and they are playing in a concert set. So it's more slow-paced music or fast-paced, depending on the school or the grade.
And so you prefer to play in which one, or have you played in both?
I am currently going into concert season, and during marching band, I was in color guard. Next year, I might actually do marching band because it seems interesting to me.
Oh, so you've never done marching band?
No.
Okay. So it sounds like you're going to be well-rounded in this band thing after a while. You have about a little over 3 more years to get your feet wet in there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So how did you get into the band?
It was a extracurricular activity in the junior high starting with 5th grade. And it was something that I found interesting and really wanted to do because in elementary, they started us on recorders. And I found that really interesting. So I figured if I had the chance, I could start in junior high.
Do you like music?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone in your family like music? Is music a thing in your family?
My dad likes a lot of music, but being in band is not many people.
Not many people in the band in your family, okay. But you do like music, so that may be a connection for you to have wanted to be in the band after playing on the recorder.
Yes, ma'am.
Was playing on the recorder easy?
At the time, no.
No.
But like as I went through elementary, it got easier and easier.
Okay. Now, is the recorder the same thing as the little flute that you play? I'm just a little older than you are, Kaylyn, but we had this long flute and it had some holes in the top and we played it like this.
That's a recorder. It's usually plastic and it has 6 holes on it. And if you cover certain holes at like certain times, you can make different pitches and sounds.
You've taught me something today. I may have known it at some point, but I didn't remember that it was called a recorder. But I was actually pretty good on those. I can play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and Jingle Bells and all those easy songs. Well, tell me this. What instrument do you play now?
I currently play the bass clarinet, but throughout junior high, I played the regular clarinet.
Which one did you like best?
I actually enjoy the bass clarinet more than the regular clarinet because it's easier to me to get sounds out and it gives me more room to explore different notes. Compared to a regular clarinet, it's an octave lower and it's actually quite bigger than the regular clarinet. And when I play the B flat clarinet, which is what I'm calling the regular clarinet, it's a lot smaller and I really couldn't get my hands to do what I wanted them to do.
So there's some functionality things that one would have to consider when playing a particular instrument, I'm hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you just kind of have to work with it, play it a little bit to figure out which one you want best. So how did you make your choice?
In fifth grade, they test you on different types of instruments. I tried out personally on flute, clarinet, and a brass instrument. I could have chose any of them because the person that I was trying out with said I could do any of them. I chose the clarinet because it seemed the easiest to me.
So when you were learning to play, how hard was it? Can you read the music or can you play by ear?
At the beginning, it was really hard to read music and play the notes at the same time. Our band director at the time said I could write in notes, but like as the years went by, it got easier and easier to read music and to get the notes out at the same time because sometimes the music's really fast, sometimes it's really slow.
Right. So now a clarinet, does it have a reed?
Yes, ma'am.
Because believe it or not, I played the saxophone and I love the saxophone, but I had a really hard time learning how to blow the reed. My lip would hurt.
Yeah, my lip would go numb.
Yes, and you have to make sure your reed is wet all the time, and that just didn't seem comfortable. I was like, that just doesn't seem right to me. But but I got the knack of it, and I really love the sound of the saxophone. I played that in middle school. So with that being said, what would you tell someone else thinking about playing the clarinet, how they needed to prepare themselves, and what are the pros and cons of it?
If you were thinking about playing the clarinet, you would have to get used to your fingers hurting a little bit because in the clarinet, it has holes on it and there's metal rings around the holes. So your fingers would probably hurt. That's a con. A pro to that is you would learn to have hand coordination because you have to play with both hands. Another con is you might get splinters in your lip because of the reed, because they're wood, but also you can get really fun sounds out of a clarinet. Once you get used to it, you can get higher or lower sounds out of it. It just depends on the person if you want to play clarinet or you want to play saxophone.
So it takes practice. And after a while, your fingers and your joints and your muscles, you get all used to it and it's okay, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's think a little broader now. What would you tell someone the benefits of being a part of a band is?
You would get used to physical activities. You wouldn't get winded as easily, and you would get used to hot weather or cold weather because marching season is usually August to December, and you would get used to that weather. You might get bulky depending on the instrument, or you might get upper and lower body coordination because you have to do all these twists and turns. And you would get coordination to other people because you have to stay in step with people and march.
Wow. It takes a whole lot. I remember being in a band only in middle school because I couldn't keep up, Kaylyn. It just wasn't my thing. I love playing my horn, but when it came to having to march and do all those maneuvers and dance moves and twirling and making words and acronyms just wasn't my thing. So with that said, it takes a lot of time and hard work. So talk a little bit about the commitment that it takes from a student.
It takes a lot of commitment because prepping into marching season, it actually started somewhere in mid-July because you have to go through band camp. And that really teaches you the basics and stuff, how to march. And we learn some of our sets to our show. You would have to have a lot of commitment. It takes up a lot of your time. It takes up after school time and in school time. If you don't have that much commitment, you would get bored of it real easily and you might drop out.
You have to really be committed to this because it sounds like it's just a part of a class, just like learning anything else. And you're trying to perfect it and everybody else is counting on you too, I'm sure. So are you planning to keep on going and hopefully use the band to maybe get a scholarship?
Yes, ma'am. Into college if I can, because this is something that actually really makes me happy and I really enjoy it. You can make new friends from band. You can meet new people because in my high school, you are combining Mendenhall and Simpson Central because Simpson Central doesn't have a high school. You get to meet a totally new group of people. And those people who are coming from band in Simpson Central, you get to meet them and you can make new friends from it.
That's a very good benefit as well. Grow together, learn together. So do you watch college bands on television?
Yes, ma'am. I have been getting into a lot of JSU's halftime shows and march-ins because they seem really interesting to me on how they march in and stuff. And their shows are really interesting because every show I've seen, they spell out JSU with their marching band.
Well, JSU is my alma mater, and I often find myself doing that little tune. I'm like, dun, 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 dun. Do you do that with your favorite song in the band?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hit one for me.
This is in part 1 of our show is dun 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 dun. Then there's a big hit.
I love it. Is that like the one you theme song, or that's just one you like?
That's like one of my favorite parts of our show because I was in color guard for our marching season. And that was when we would bring out our 2 swing flags.
Okay.
And we would do our swing flag routine from there. And that would be a big hit point.
Well, I feel a lot of energy from you about this band thing. It sounds really interesting because a lot of people, maybe younger than you, students, your peers, little ones in your community, in your family who might be thinking about it, and they might hear this and they say, oh, Kaylyn loves the band. Listen how she's talking about the band. So you might really be inspiring someone to think about the band, particularly if they like music, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me, what did I miss asking you about the band? Say, hey, Dr. Wren should have asked me this. I needed to tell people this about the band.
You could have asked about what we do when we're not doing the show because we stay the entire football game. If we're not in the show, the band is playing stand music. And one of our songs that we played this year was Industry Baby. And the color guard, we had fun doing a dance to that because while we're not on the field, we have stand dances.
So you not only have to learn the music and the maneuvers on the field, but you have stand songs and stand moves too. There's a lot going on in the band. I had no idea, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Well, if you were going to say something to a little one or a younger person or even just a peer about being in the band, what would be the thing that you would say to them to convince them to try out for the band?
If you want to try out for band, you have to be prepared for blood, sweat, and tears because it takes a lot, but once you get used to it, it gets easier and easier on the way to championships. And once you get to championships, you feel really good about your show if you get a high ranking.
Have you ever gone to band competition?
Yes, ma'am. We had 4. And to get to the state competition, you had to get all 1s on the first 3. And Mendenhall High School Tiger Pride Band, we got all superior on all 3 competitions. And we got 15th place on the state competition.
Way to go. Congratulations. What do y'all do to hype yourself up?
Like at the beginning and end of games, he counts us off and we say pride. And that's us being excited about football games, championships, and all that stuff. And it shows who we are, the Mendenhall Tiger Pride Band.
All right. So I'm going to count you off. What does he count to? 1, 2, or 3?
It's Benton Hut.
All right. I'm going to say it and you're going to say what you say. Okay, here we go. Benton Hut.
Pride.
There you go. I love it. Kaylyn Johnson, thank you so much for having this fun conversation with me about your love for the music and the band. You have given some good tips about being a productive band member, and you have provided excellent suggestions on things to consider when thinking about becoming a band member. I hope you go far and continue to flourish as a band member and as a student, and I look forward to getting to know you a whole lot better, Kaylyn. So thank you for sharing with me today.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
And you as well. I'm Dr. Tara Y. Wren, signing off with Chalkboard Chat.
Thank you for tuning in. Before you go, please be sure to leave a positive review for Chalkboard Chat and subscribe to be the first to know when a new episode releases. See you next time.